help you to make more energy? A lot of people ask me that all the time. We think that when we get sluggish in the afternoon and the energy goes droop, that we need to reach for caffeine or sugar. But I'm here to tell you that there's a lot better choices than caffeine and sugar to help you to not only restore your energy when it droops, but also to help you so that you don't have those afternoon droops. So, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Rita Marie Loscalzo, and here we work with health practitioners of all sorts to help them get the tools they need to help people to truly get well rather than symptom suppression focus. And we work with people who really want to get well and really want to take charge and empower themselves to be healthy. And so here we are for another episode, and let's just jump right in and get started. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is, how does food affect energy? How does food affect you in such a way as to help you to make more energy? Well, you might have heard me talk about this before. You might have heard it in the public and summits and other podcasts and blogs. But there's these things called mitochondria, and they're in every cell in your body. Every single cell in your body has mitochondria. And mitochondria's job is to create energy for you. Mitochondria's job is to help you to be able to do all the things you want to do, right? Like have fun with friends, play with your kids, go out on dates, go hiking, whatever you need energy for. But also, those mitochondria provide energy for every cell in the body to do its job, right? We want our liver cells to be working and be able to have the energy to detoxify. We want our gut cells to have the energy to be able to absorb nutrients, break down nutrients, eliminate toxins. We want our brain, the cells in the brain, to have the energy to be able to do what the brain is supposed to do, transmit signals, help us to have efficient movements, help with emotions. And all of these cells and many, many more throughout the body require energy to do their job, to take on what they need to be doing, and to eliminate wastes, to take up nutrients from the bloodstream and put out the waste products, because Lord knows we are exposed to lots of toxins throughout our day, to lots of things the body can't use. And we want the parts of the body that are good at eliminating to let go of them. And when you think about, why are you losing your energy in the middle of the afternoon? What causes that energy droop that so many people appear to have? A lot of that is related to poor nutrition, poor uptake of nutrients through the digestive tract, poor food going in. And take a look around, you can see that most people are inundated with commercials and advertisements and all this stuff for these foods that are not good for you, that are not providing your mitochondria with the fuel, with what they need to be healthy. So, what do you do instead? Well, you've got to work on all these different parts. You've got to start with food. You've got to start with, what food are you going to put in? And that's the focus of today's talk. So, what are foods that are keto friendly? You've heard that term over and over. There's lots of YouTube videos on keto. And you've heard of plant-based. You've heard that plants have lots of nutrients, except from the carnivore crowd who thinks that plants are evil. I don't buy into that. I don't see the research on that. But we need to be able to use these foods to create energy. So I personally like foods that are both keto friendly and plant-based friendly. A lot of people think that they're going to get a lot of energy by going on a keto diet. And what they do is they just eat a lot of meat, they eat a lot of butter, they eat a lot of bacon, and they drink a lot of oil. None of those things are contributing to the mitochondria producing you more energy. What you need are foods that supply the essential nutrients. So, what are some keto friendly foods that supply energy, that help the body to actually do its thing and not crash at 2 and 3 and 4 in the afternoon? Well, some of those foods are actually foods that are everybody's talking about. So you're going to say, oh, you're just going to tell me to eat more fruits and vegetables. Yes, and right. If you are eating more fruits and vegetables, you're going to get more phytochemicals. You're going to have less of the damaging, especially if they're organic, the damaging toxins that are put in the food, that are added to the food, but also naturally occurring in the food. But what if you've tried that? What if you've said, I've tried that. I like lots of fruits and vegetables, and I still have the crash in the afternoon. Well, what that means is you may not be eating the foods that are generally best suited to your particular metabolism. So, for example, one time years and years ago, many years ago, I read about this diet it was called the 80-10-10 diet. And it works for a lot of people. And I thought, oh, how fun. You get to eat mangoes and pineapple and all this stuff. It was 100% plant-based, but it wasn't keto friendly. And I started doing it. And I'm like, oh, I get to have mango and papaya and pineapple. And what's my next meal? And yeah, I had some lettuce with it. Yeah, I had some green smoothies with lots of pineapple and papaya and mango in it. And I crashed. I didn't even make it past the first day because my energy plummeted. And I wasn't somebody who had low energy. I wasn't somebody who had these afternoon crashes. But when I ate all that fruit, my energy crashed. Now, not to diss fruit. Fruit is a great food. Fruit is loaded with antioxidants and nutrients and easy to absorb sugars. And that was the catch for me. I have genetics that predispose me towards blood sugar imbalance, that predispose me towards diabetes. I need more of the plants, the fruits included, but that the vegetables that are going to help me keep my blood sugar steady. So I had a crash. Other people who don't necessarily have those genetics were able to eat more of those fruits. So that's a pretty extreme diet. And that's what we're talking about here, but it's a matter of finding the foods that suit you. So what foods will be keto friendly and give you lots of energy? Well, some of my favorites are vegetables, avocados, nuts and seeds, olives, foods that have low sugar and high nutrient status, high phytonutrients. Like vegetables, they have almost no calories, get you. Low starchy vegetables, they have almost no calories, which is great if you want to keep and maintain your weight. Not so great if you're trying to put on weight, but that's a smaller percentage of the population. And we have ideas for you too. So if you want to eat a keto type diet, which helps you to burn fat, or you just want to eat a diet that's going to give you more energy, the foods that I recommend are things that are loaded with chlorophyll, green leafy vegetables. So one of the things, I had this amazing meal the other day, just out of the blue, went, oh, I think I'm going to have this for lunch. And it was the best lunch I'd had in weeks. It gave me all this energy and I felt full for hours and hours afterwards. So I took a bowl and I took some sprouts. We'd recently been to the farmer's market and had all these fresh sprouts. And there were broccoli sprouts. And there was this thing called Italian sprouts. And there were sunflower seed sprouts. And I put them in a bowl. Put a handful of arugula in there. And then I took fermented foods, which work well for me. For some people, too much fermented foods can cause gas and bloating. But for me, they work really well. So I had some farmer's market fresh sauerkraut. We'd recently fermented ginger and daikon. So I put that in my bowl and they're real easy to do. We had a show on it on our Healing Kitchen show. If anybody wants the link to that, go ahead and put it in the chat and I'll give you in the comments and I'll give you a link to how you can get access to that. But you can ferment these vegetables and it gives you all these good critters for your gut. And good gut critters help with producing energy. Bad gut critters zap your energy. So these are some of the foods that I ate. So I did that. And then I put on avocado. I sliced avocado on there and I added some hemp seeds for my omega-3s and a couple of walnuts, sprouted walnuts. It was yummy, delicious, and it kept me steady. I didn't lose energy after eating it. I didn't feel like I needed to crash. I didn't feel like, oh, now I need something sweet because it satiated. Okay. So you may have things that you cannot do. So you avoid the things that right now are causing you problems. But I highly recommend that what you do is you find out why those things are causing you problems. Why are they causing you problems? It's not because the foods are bad. You know, if you're eating green leafy vegetables and sprouts, it's because your body's not handling it and you need to repair that. You need to repair your gut. You may need to repair your blood sugar balancing. You may need some hormones to be repaired. So it's a matter of finding out why you don't tolerate food. If you don't tolerate good food, you get indigestion, gas, bloating, exhaustion after eating good, healthy, wholesome foods, then that requires you to examine. That requires you to work with somebody who's trained in functional medicine and nutritional endocrinology and functional nutrition to figure it out for you and help you and put you on the path and empower you to take charge. But if you're eating Twinkies and you're eating Snickers bars and you're eating M&Ms, those used to be my favorite foods, plus Triscuits, those starchy, crunchy things with horrible oils in it, and you don't feel good after it, I will say it's the food's fault. Your body should not be able to tolerate those foods because there's so much in them that's not good for you. So going back to the start, what are some of those foods that are going to give you energy, that are going to supply your mitochondria with what they need in order to make energy? And by the way, there's way more than supplying the mitochondria. So don't think you got to rush out and buy the latest mitochondrial supplement in order to have more energy and prevent that crash in the middle of the afternoon, because it doesn't work that way. There are so many segments of what I call the fatigue fixing framework. You're tired. You got to figure out why. And there's so many things that play into it. Your gut status, your blood sugar, your ability to get fats, the good fats into the membranes, your cell membrane integrity, your hormones, your thyroid, your adrenals, your liver status. There's so many things that play in to making you exhausted. You need to figure those things out. Some people can't take a regular keto diet with all that fat. Like some people are recommending like an 80 to 90% fat diet. That doesn't work for people whose livers and gallbladders are either exhausted or the gallbladder has been removed. So it's a matter of finding the right foods for you. So where do we start? You start with getting as much green stuff in you. And I like to do it early in the day. I like to do it by, not so early because I like to do intermittent fasting, but I love to include like a big green smoothie. And my green smoothie has lots of greens, some of it from my garden, some of it from the farmer's market, and some of it from the plain old store. Or I like to get organic as much as possible. And I blend that up with seasonings. We have fresh basil growing in our garden right now. And so it's a delicious addition to a smoothie. I put an avocado in there to give a little fat. I put a little bit of hemp seeds in there for omega-3 fats, which are so important for our inflammation pathways. And guess what? One of the causes of fatigue, chronic inflammation, chronic gut imbalance, and going back to the beginning where we talked about the blood sugar imbalance. So again, what foods are good? Lots of green leafy vegetables. Sprouts are amazing. There is this concentrated source of nutrition. And even folks who have trouble with digesting things like oxalates and other kinds of chemicals in the foods, the green foods, they don't usually have trouble with the sprouts because they're alive and they're fresh and they're small. So look into sprouts. Look into growing your own. That's the cheapest way. You buy $1 worth of seeds and you can make what would cost you $20, $30 in the stores worth of sprouts. So sprouts are one of my favorites. Fermented foods. One of my favorites is making or buying coconut yogurt. There's a brand I love called Cocoa. You can't get it everywhere. But what I do, and if I don't have access to that, is I'll blend up a bunch of coconut meat. You can buy coconuts or you can buy frozen coconut meat and make these amazing coconut yogurts. And you can flavor it and you can put some hemp seeds and chia seeds and some walnuts and you can put blueberries in there, right? It's a matter of finding these healthy foods that also work for you. And I know that when that afternoon thing hits, right? Oh, that crash. I used to have it decades ago. You want to reach for something that's going to give you a quick pick-me-up. And generally, it's caffeine, right? Cup of coffee, hot cocoa, a Coke, Pepsi. I don't drink or eat those things anymore. Maybe you don't either. But that caffeine, right? Maybe it's a chocolate bar from the candy machine, something that's going to give you that boost. And a chocolate bar tends to do the trick because it's got the chocolate, which is high in caffeine, or relatively not as high as coffee, certainly. And then it's also got the sugar. So we reach for these things. And a lot of people say to me, oh, but I want to eat these really good foods, but I'm going to miss it. My taste buds are going to miss it. And basically, my flat answer would be you got to get over that. You've got to be able to put your health first. Eating these keto-friendly, plant-strong kinds of meals is going to put you at the forefront of your health. So when it comes down to it, I ask people this a lot. Which would you prefer to give up? Having energy and feeling wonderful and not eating some of those M&Ms and Cheetos and other things that you used to eat? Or eating those M&Ms and Cheetos and other stuff and dealing with the bloating and the gas and the headaches? I personally made that choice like 35 years ago. And I was the biggest junk food junkie. So keto-friendly foods, plant-based foods. You don't have to be 100% vegan to do this. That becomes kind of a religion. No, you need to include more of these plants. And if you're someone who has a really messed up gut and you do better if you just eat meat, that's the carnivore diet. And some people do well on it short term. Nobody's been doing that for very long. And I'm not a big fan of it because it's missing so many of the nutrients. And I'm concerned that people might be getting, the toxicity in the meat. If we were all to eat a carnivore diet, the planet would soon be nothing but grazing lands, because you don't want to eat meat that's already been, factory farmed. So there's a lot of reasons to not go that direction. There's a lot of reasons to go the other direction, to eat more of the keto-friendly plant-based foods. A lot of people who go on a plant-based diet say, oh, that doesn't work for me. Or they know people who've gone on a plant-based diet. That doesn't work for me. But the reason is because they're doing it wrong. They're not doing it right. A lot of people are eating junk food, vegan food, right? All that processed meat and the Beyond Burgers and sausages made of soy protein. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about feeding your body, feeding your mitochondria with the nutrients they need. The nutrients are so amazing. Pomegranates, for example, pomegranate seeds. This is the time of year for pomegranates, are so amazing for feeding the mitochondria, right? There's foods that support your health. There's foods that take away from the health. And if you want to have energy, you need to have a well-functioning body. You've got to have foods that are giving you energy versus depleting energy. And if you're a health practitioner and you're working with people and you're going, oh, my people won't go extreme, you got to get them off the things that hurt them and get them on the things that heal them. And if you give them the wrong impression, like, oh, there's this simple strategy, we're just going to give you this mitochondrial support supplement or this energy or this thyroid support supplement. It doesn't work that way. We need to supply the body with a ton of nutrition. We need to flood the body with nutrients and decrease the ability or decrease the stress on the body's digestive organs. So going back to the start, we're getting close to Halloween, right? People are out there, oh, let me get the trick-or-treat candy to give my trick-or-treaters. This is the worst time of year for those energy slumps. It's all downhill from here, guys. If you started Halloween with all the candy and you go, oh, I got to get my afternoon pick-me-up. So tempting if you have it in the house because you're going to feed the trick-or-treaters and always going to be leftovers. If you start doing that now, what's going to happen on New Year's when you wake up? You've got Halloween, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all these things that are centered around food. So let's choose food that's going to give you health every moment. I know that you don't want cancer or heart disease, yet those are diet-related illnesses. So let's choose to have the energy for the heart to function properly. Let's choose the foods that give you the energy for the immune system to function properly. So the cancer is not, going to be so apt to grow in you. Let's choose the foods that make this body what it's intended to be, a healthy, happy place, and make the world a healthy, happy place. So I suggest you subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more videos planned. We have a lot more videos out there. And my goal is to help you to get the very best health you can. My goal in making these videos is to teach practitioners that there's another way to look at it. It's not a matter of what's the latest fad nutrient. It's not the matter of what's the latest drug. It's a matter of what you're putting in your body. And that's what matters. having health so that you're healthy and happy. Your family gets to enjoy you for a long time. So stay tuned, channel, go, subscribe, follow me. And then there's some other videos that should pop up if you're on YouTube that show you some other things here. I do see that there's some comments, so I am going to answer questions. So let's see. Dan wants to know what causes mitochondrial dysfunction. Poor choices, environmental toxins, and not that mitochondria not getting what they need. That causes them to not act right. Hi, Jody. You had guac and hem today. Guacamole is one of my favorite foods in the whole world. Let's see. Fulvic acid can tolerate a lot more food now. Yeah, fulvic acid is loaded with minerals. So you might have a deficiency that's contributing to your gut not working properly, to your blood sugar being all over the map, and replenishing those nutrients. But when we go back in time, what are the causes of some of those deficiencies and imbalances? A lot of it is the environment and the stress of the food that we put in. So yeah, great comment. Dan, when I eat a tablespoon of peanut butter, it's like I've been eating a full meal. Interesting. I'm not a big fan of peanut butter as opposed to like almond butter or other butters, because peanuts, especially here, I know you're from a different place in the world, Dan, but here the peanuts are very highly fungal infested, and they produce a toxin called aflatoxin, which has been contributed to cancer in many people. Plus, I examine genetics on a lot of folks. And what happens is some of those folks have the inability of the body, potential inability of the body based on their genes, to break down aflatoxins and others in that class. So just be careful, but maybe try some other kinds of butters. This afternoon, my husband made the most delicious butter I think in the world, which is cashews and pecans. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And it's very filling. Jody, great. Green smoothies every morning with ginger, turmeric, and hemp. You are on the right page. And you grow your own. You get your seeds from Amazon for the sprouts. Is that what you mean? Okay. Yeah. Jody says, I'm kind of vegan junk food junkie. I try not to eat that stuff. Yeah, so stay away from that stuff. Just because it's plant-based doesn't mean that it's healthy. You can get Fritos, right? Not Cheetos, because those are cheese-based, but Fritos, fried and hydrogenated oils and all this stuff, but they're plant-based. Doesn't make them healthy. So we have to choose. We have to choose good oils. We have to choose rich stuff. Yeah. Jody says, truth, always a holiday. It's always a holiday here in the U.S. Absolutely. And in other parts of the world, I heard from somebody that is in the Philippines that they start the Christmas celebration at the end of September. The stores start having the festivities. And I would assume some of the festivities that we have to have the cookies and the candies and all those festive foods. Don't treat yourself to festive foods like that. Treat yourself to good, wholesome things. And here's the thing. Most people don't realize that you can eat amazing plant-based, keto-friendly, low glycemic, keeping your blood sugar steady foods that resemble the things that you're getting used to. And again, put it in the chat, in the comments, that you want me to give you links, but we have a library, a huge library of videos and recipe guides that I put together. And some of my favorites are the treats. Some of my favorites are the healthy holiday treats. So we're happy to share where you could get that. All right. So I thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel. Dedicate yourself to making yourself healthy, keeping yourself healthy, not giving into your tongue. I said this to someone on a call and she was like, oh my God, that's the best statement. 30 seconds on the tongue is not worth a lifetime of illness, is not worth the poundage around the hips. 30 seconds on the tongue. That's really what happens when you put the food in there. The M&Ms, the bad food, but you can get this pleasure of having it on your tongue and the long-term pleasure of having a healthy body. Which do you choose? So thank you, Dr. Rita Marie Loscalzo, and check us out, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.